Oh, hello. You've caught me in the middle of my portfolio video. But in this video, I'm trying to combine tasks 3 and 4 together. So tasks 3 being what my current structured well-being plan is, and task 4 sort of fixing it. And I've thought about it a little bit, and I feel at the moment my well-being plan's pretty good. What it used to be was a main couple of things that I try to do, and that's exercise, like at a high intensity, eat for the enjoyment of food, keeping myself busy, and go on YouTube late at night just to sort of wind down the day. And the reasons for these four are with this high intensity exercise, I really enjoy it. I'm a personal trainer and I love sort of being in the gym environment. It makes me very comfortable, being challenged physically and also just being at the gym. Running's probably not for me, but other things are, like on the punching bag, or doing weights. That always sort of clears my mind of any cobwebs that I'm experiencing, and especially after a daunting shift. Even though I've done 12 hours already, it's always good to sort of like go to the gym anyway for about an hour, and that's the nail in the coffin that gives me a really good night's sleep. The other thing, eating for the fun of food. I always think of the gym as a deposit onto my bank, and so I'm allowed to eat sort of unhealthy for a little bit or a little while. And that's always good. Like, I always try to accompany foods. Like, if I'm studying, I'll drink coffee, or if I finish an assignment, I'll have carbs and stuff like that. But I haven't been keeping myself on a diet plan or anything, but more on that a little bit later in task 4. Keeping myself busy. So as I mentioned in my second task, I feel keeping myself busy and constantly moving. It's almost like running away from my problems, but in a way it's just keeping myself as active as possible, so then problems don't really become bothersome. And that means waking up nice and early, going to uni to do some study or to watch some classes, and then going to the gym, and then going to work after that, and then going to sleep, and having some time for myself to socialize or to just be by myself, and just repeat that day in, day out. Because I find when I stop, I sort of slump. I sort of start getting a little bit lazy, and I start missing out on classes, and I start missing out on exercise. And that's where things sort of start circling into my brain. So some time management skills, that's what keeps me functioning and alive. And YouTube rabbit holes, that's what I like doing. I know that it's not the healthiest thing to do, but that's what I notice with my structure and well-being. So a question is, what happens when I encounter stress? I'm honest when I'm overwhelmed. I'll talk to either crew partners that I'm with, or even say my parents or friends that understand, and tell them that, look, this is what I've been through. It's pretty shit, or this is what I've been through. It's pretty crap. And just hopefully sort of talking about it a little bit more, and gaining some sort of either closure from the event or acceptance from the event, is what happens sort of after the stressful activity. When it does happen, when amongst it, I'm pretty calm and collected. I try to prioritize tasks or things first. In an office environment, it'll be say working in the mailroom. You've got couriers that are coming in and they need to be done by 5. but you've also got like a mail delivery first. You prioritize the tasks amongst the team and try to do the try and get the mail done as soon as possible while someone else is doing couriers. And in a situation that involves death, you take care of yourself first and your well-being, making sure that you're in a good frame of mind upon entering a scene, but also taking care of the people that are at the scene as well. And that's probably the next of kin, the family members, or any sort of witnesses. And not dismissing them as well, because something that helps me through stress is being able to support others, which sounds a bit far-fetched, but I find that helps me a lot with closure and acceptance of such an event. And the other question is, another thing is like learning to love stress in healthy quantities. I feel like I've sort of explained it there. And how does this impact my future paramedic practice? I think at the moment of how I deal with stress is pretty safe. It's pretty good at the moment. I felt throughout my 2.5 years, I've been pretty on top of my stress levels when it comes to paramedic work, and even my job as well, past jobs too. If I've kept up a practice like this and learn to like accept or question if, say, something's wrong, or just learn a little bit more about, say, the event, it builds resilience upon me. So task 4, so that's about developing a well-being plan. I thought I could stick to my well-being plan, thinking it was all bulletproof, but after doing some research, I've figured out there's a couple of things that I should start tweaking. So I originally said exercise, eating for the fun of food, keeping myself busy, and in YouTube rabbit holes. Well, exercise is pretty good, so I'm going to leave that there untouched. Eating for the fun of food probably does need looking at after doing some research, figuring out that the more sort of heavier foods that you eat, like carbs that I enjoy, that slows down the sort of cognitive function. Whereas if I eat more vegetables or more aminos that help complement my body to what I'm trying to do, whether it's study or run just a little bit further, that will prove more beneficial for me rather than eating for the fun of food. I should start eating for the purpose of what food is going to give me, to aid me, to help me function better, regardless if it is if I am on shift or working at the gym or so on and so forth. Keeping myself busy. I found a study about this person. It was an experimental study of someone trying to develop time management plans for nurses, believing that they're in a highly stressful environment and this will be a low-cost way to relieve stress. And after teaching these nurses some stress relieving tips, they were putting this into practice for a couple of weeks, and it turns out it actually did nothing to help them. And I believe it's more because that these time management sort of exercises were done throughout work, and you can't stop and change what you do at work or on shift. You can't say, like, in the middle of an 12 hour shift, you know what, I need my 30 minutes of silence and healthy eating. You can't control that, but you can control what you do outside of shift, which I believe creates a great foundation to reset your batteries and to head back onto the road. So that's about keeping busy, probably managing my stress outside of work a little bit better. And another thing is those YouTube rabbit holes. I read somewhere that Henry Cavill, for his role for Superman, when when he was training for it, his personal trainer insisted that no matter what he does, he has to keep up with 8 hours of sleep every night, no matter what, without fail. In which Henry Cavill favors and says with high praise that is ultimately what gave him the Superman body. In terms of the mindset as well, your brain is able to be more rested, more rejuvenated to practice. Whereas when you're up all night after a shift, which ends at say 8 or 9, it takes you a moment to wind down. So this is like at 10 or 11. For me, I'll probably be on YouTube until maybe 12 or 1 in the morning, which is a little bit unhealthy. So that will cut down an hour of unnecessary time. So part of my new wellbeing plan is to incorporate a curfew of the technology that I have before I go to bed. So for task 4, my new resilience plan is the exercise at high intensity, eating for the purpose of food, so eating the right foods. Still keeping myself busy, but keeping myself busy outside of work and shift, and also having the curfew for late nights, so then I can have my 8 hours of sleep. That is tasks 3 and 4.